Château de Rochemorin from
Yes.
2015. And we're still in Pessac-Léognan, obviously. And what is the differences between the Cauchois and the Rochemorin?
In fact, it's a selection of plots, and they're both grown in the same area. Okay, and we tend to select all the best plots for Rochemorin. And Cauchois, as you said, is a sort of second wine of Rochemorin. That's plots of less, I would not say quality, because the wine is really nice, but we have even a greater level of concentration in the Rochemorin, you see, and as soon as you taste it, you can straight away feel that difference in between these two wines. The first one is quite, I will say, fresh, intense, but still vibrant and intense, and the other one that has at least 3 more years as well of bottle aging is so fine, so rich, and so greasy, oily, and
greasy,
that's how they how they age these wines as well, you see. And when they're well made and from a good origin, they're beautiful over the time.
It's really also the nuttiness that you talked about in the other one. This is even more present here. It's very like fresh hazelnuts and almonds. Yeah,
chamomile as well develops on the nose.
Yeah. But it's fascinating because this style of Sauvignon Blanc, you get the freshness, but it's also a very dense and intense and rich wine. So is it the aging and of course the Pessac-Léognan, the terroir and all that, or do you do something? Is it a different kind of oak aging or anything like that, or is it just the wine that speaks?
There's no tricks, you know. It's we do ferment these wines in barrel. That's, for example, Chateau Bonnet, it's 100% fermented in tank, in stainless steel. Okay, there's no contact at all with oak. Where the Cauchois and the Rochemorin are both 100% fermented in barrel. For sure, we put certainly a newer barrel in the Rochemorin than we would use in the Cauchois. So the impact of the wood is certainly greater in the Rochemorin. But as well, you know, I made a lot of comparison of Sauvignon Blanc from around the world because I have my expertise and I made wines in different countries around the world. But every time you have in a blind tasting a wine from Pessac-Léognan, you can easily find it because there's a sort of identity in our wines that I cannot explain, but this is the reality of what we produce every year, year after year. We find that identity back into our wines and makes them unique, like a Sancerre will be unique and different from a Pouilly Fumé, you know? So this is what terroir is. I mean, there's no much. I mean, that the magic of the terroir is speaking through these wines.
But that's really true. But also, as what about the? Can you say something about the vintage 2015? Was it considered a good one even for a white Bordeaux?
2015 was a very dry, what we call dry, cool vintage. So it was, in fact, it allowed us, because so dry, to push the maturation of our whites, and we can feel in the 15 Rochemorin Blanc all that fat and complexity and richness because we have been able to really rise the grapes to the right level. And 18 of the Cauchois was suddenly picked a little bit earlier in a year that needed to be where the conditions were suddenly extremely good for red, and but the whites needed to be picked quite soon.
Quite soon, okay. But how long could you? I mean, what would you say? How long can you age a wine like this?
Alors, honestly, our whites from Pessac-Léognan can age much more than 20 years. Okay, it all depends on the quality of the cork that closes the wine, and that's why our wines that you have tried tonight, you will see, are all closed with a diam cork. That is a cork that doesn't let much air penetrating in the bottle, which means that the wine can age for a very long time. And I can guarantee you that in 15 to 20 years, these wines will be still very enjoyable.
What's your favorite dish for this wine?
As I said before, I mean, us, we tend to enjoy these wines at any time. We serve them as a drink before dinner or before lunch. We enjoy them on any entries that we produce on a soup. You know, a soup, for example, would be a very nice drink.
Like an onion soup.
It could be an onion soup. Why not?
Yeah.
And
Why not?
that's a good. I have to try. Normally, when you have an onion soup, this is an entire dinner because this is so rich that you don't need anything else. But as well, but as we say, dried cheese like Comté that we have, Salers. All these cheese made from gott, cheap sheep cheese and cow cheese, but dry and hard cheese. They go extremely well with these wines.